In the late 1920s and 30s, Camp Talooli was actually a farmland owned by Dean Betts. In 1945, Dean Betts sold the property to Camp Talooli, and that's what started everything. In 1947, Duff Lodge was built. Originally, Camp Talooli was an all-girls camp, consisting of the Campfire Girls.
And I had a daughter and a couple of nieces, and it was just my desire to have them have the camp experience that I had enjoyed when I was a child or a youngster. And fortunately, we discovered Camp Talooli. So I drove from Rochester with these three girls, back of the car, came down the road into Camp Talooli, and I was just sure that we had found what I was looking for.
In 1975, Camp Talooli became a co-ed camp. In 1978, they started building the log cabins, which is now the CIT land.
As I stayed in Campfire for any length of time, I ultimately applied to be the executive director, and that is when the camp made a big move. Managed to hire Jan and Jeff to help with the camp, and that's when we went to a paid staff, so and a very well-trained staff.
So Jeff and I drove down Camp Talooli one August night and found ourselves applying for the caretaker position. This was a real camp, and we really wanted to be part of it.
On the first day that Jan and I drove down the road into Camp Talooli, and we were being led by a longtime Camp Talooli volunteer and camper. On that day, our friend thought we might be willing to become the caretakers because they needed a new caretaker, and we were young college students and so forth. And it was interesting because Shannon and I virtually instantly realized that this place had the potential to grow and to change our lives, in a way to define our life as a couple and ultimately our lives as a family.
In 1990, the boardwalk was built, which made camp wheelchair accessible. In May of 1994, the Monarch Music Stage was built by volunteers. In May of 1997, the pirate ship was made by campers and staff, and they sailed it across Lake Temelo.
I can recall when we really started putting in our first flush toilets instead of just outhouses. People are like, oh, it's not camping if there's not outhouses. But guess what? We adapted pretty quickly to having flush toilets, and it made sense. It fit in with the changing nature of the kids and the adults coming to camp.
It's grown in terms of the development of the staff. Our staff is very professional. Most of our staff have grown up with us, have a strong sense of camp, have grown through the CIT program, and they're very competent young professionals. But we've also grown in the quality of the program that we deliver each week. And I think that probably ties to the development of the staff. The numbers in campers has grown into the development of the staff, the CIT program, and therefore I think the quality of the program has also grown.
Watching the people that I watched grow through not only being a camper to a CIT to a staff member, I kept coming back because this place is my family. It's affected and changed who I was, who I am, and who I will be.
Seeing that it wasn't just a summer camp, it wasn't just a job, it was family, it was community, it was friendships and relationships.
A place where everybody's accepted. It's a place where a school without walls, a community.
It's a place where kids, teens, adults, alumni, we can always come back to this place that means so much to all of us. It's not just the place, although the place is really special, but it's the feeling that you get when you step foot on this property, those memories that rush back to you from childhood, that sense of belonging, the people that you remember that were so meaningful in your lives. That's what family is.
I think I return because of what I see. the growth and development in the campers, the growth and development in the staff. And I don't know that you often get to work at a place where, number one, you enjoy it, but most importantly, you get to see the mission be affected. I mean, we set out with a goal in mind, we have a mission, and we are able to accomplish that. And we're able to see that each year.
The staff have grown up with each other. They went to campus kids together. They went through the counselor training program together. And then they lived together all summer long. And so you build these really deep bonds during really a formidable time in your life when you're kind of figuring out who you are. And for a lot of the staff, it's a place where they feel acceptance and they feel like they're able to be who they really are, which high school is a hard time in life, and you don't always find that in high school. And so you build these really deep bonds that for a lot of people can last a lifetime.
Camp was definitely a place where I felt comfortable being myself for the first time. I learned a bunch of skills here. I learned how to be a leader. I learned how to be a communicator. It really just shaped me into the adult that I am today.
Camp definitely has impacted my life. I think about it all the time. And I take the stuff that I learned from like the CIT program and from camp, and I try to apply it to my life.
Everything that I learned working here as a counselor still helps me today in working and raising my daughter.
I've got 2 boys. They're both different. I've seen them come out of their shell. I've seen them engage. I've seen them learn to be independent and to grow and to be on their own, and I attribute that to camp. You know, it was the best move we ever made, and you know, since 2nd grade to right now, they're both on staff, so something's going on here that's right.
I think finding the camp experience was a huge life-changing experience for me. I grew up pretty much my entire youth and childhood planning a different career. But camp provided an opportunity for me to fulfill some of the goals I had set when I went off to school, with the idea that I wanted to work with children and youth. Camp took me by surprise. I found that I could accomplish all the goals I had set for myself in an outdoor classroom.
Nokomis Lodge is so exciting because it's a dream we've been working towards for so long that, to be honest, we never thought was possible. Camp has gone through some really dark times, as a lot of organizations. As the world changes, as the economy changes, it's gone through some really challenging times where we didn't know if we were going to be able to make it to the next year. And the fact that we're in a place now where this is even possible, I can't stop smiling when I think about it, because it opens up so many more doors and so many more people to be affected by this place and this family. There are so many more kids and families and students that will be able to come here to learn and to grow together. And what makes me excited is all I keep thinking about is the new programs that we can have here year-round, bringing in teens throughout the year to continue that relationship that we have in the summertime, to continue that throughout the year so that it's even more meaningful to our youth.
Kids need to know that year after year after year that they come back to camp, they grow up here, they become staff here. Some things will change, but some things won't change. Yes, Jan and I and Kelly and Crystal will be here at camp, and we'll always be here, and my silly eyebrows will always be waiting for them. The kids need to have that kind of anchor in their life that they can sort of depend upon certain kinds of things. So, no, I'm not going to trump that.